Look outside, what do you say?
What do I say? I say, ooh, there's a lot of snow outside.
Do you not think that's pretty? I think that's pretty pretty. Standing inside, it looks like, we were talking earlier on, like a picture postcard, very similar to one you might get at Christmas, maybe a Christmas card. The only thing missing from that is a Bob, Bob, Bobbin' Robin.
Did Jesus have any snow during the whole Bethlehem incident?
I don't think he did, because it was kind of in the Middle East, and they don't see much snow. The robin thing, do they fly or do they bob? What's going on there?
I think they're capable of both, I think. They bob, like if they're on the road and you're walking towards them, they bob until the last moment possible. And then when you're about to trample on them.
So it's like the red robin goes bob, bob, bobbin, fly! Because I nearly got run over.
Exactly. That's how the second verse goes.
I've never heard the second verse of that. In fact, I've not actually heard that song for a very long time. Can we listen to it after we've done this?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. The reason why we're talking about outside, we're using that to sort of throw into this week's podcast because it's been snowing lots. Basically, this podcast is going to be a list of schools that were closed in our area. So, here it is.
Here it is. You can actually play along with School Closure Bingo. If you go to the website, you can download a School Closure Bingo card.
Sit yourself down, maybe in front of a nice old fire, stick on some Nat King Cole, the best music when it's this kind of weather, and play School Closure Bingo by listening to this week's Bapcast. Enjoy. That'll do, won't it?
We haven't actually put school closures in the Bapcast, have we?
Yeah, the whole Bapcast is totally school closures.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I decided to do. I thought I'd throw out all of the funny stuff that we did, which is about 5 minutes. And then the rest of it is all just school closures anyway, and ice updates and slippy pavement stuff.
Traffic, does that get in there?
Bit of traffic in there too.
Excellent.
So can we do it now?
What?
Play the Bap.
Yeah, play it now.
Here it is.
The weekly breakfast Bap. Anyone? Anyone order the weekly breakfast Bap? With sauce, love.
The home of great music, Jackie Wilson, the guy when I was a kid who I thought was made out of plasticine, like a Morph character. It's true.
Why on earth did you think that?
I thought that because, I don't know whether you've ever seen the video for Reet Petite that was re-released in the 80s. Well, there was like a little plasticine character singing. Look-a-ba, 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 ooh-wee.
And you thought that was Jackie Wilson?
I thought, well, it was Jackie Wilson. It was a depiction of Jackie Wilson. The reason why they got the plasticine character in was because Jackie Wilson was dead when they re-released this song. Right. So they had to bring in a replacement. And what better replacement than a plasticine Jackie Wilson, who did all kinds of stuff. So I thought Jackie Wilson, for a time when I was a kid, was a little plasticine figurette, like Morph.
You do know Morph isn't a real person as well, or Wallace and Gromit for that matter.
Touch me in the morning.
Producer Rob is here. I think that people like it. I think they like it when I'm up against the wall. I think they like it when I'm on the ropes.
Do they? I don't really like it.
Why don't you like it?
Because I usually suffer the backlash.
Well, it's just because you're in the room.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. I'm within reaching distance.
What you're suggesting there is that there's been some physical violence, which has never happened.
No, I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying, if you wanted to get physical, I would be the obvious target.
I am a lover, not a fighter. Okay?
Well, we'll see after this, shall we?
Man flu tag is unhealthy, is the headline, and I'd agree with this. Men are put off going to the doctor for fear of being ridiculed as having man flu. More than 50% of men say that they stay away because of the jibe. This is a research poll that's come out recently, which is basically, because all this finger-pointing, oh, you're not very well, oh, you've got man flu, people are not actually going to the doctors when they're properly ill. And I've always said the man flu sort of tag is unfair. Because, yeah, us blokes can't be ill now. It's just a perfect example. If somebody's ill, like, you know, for example, me, somebody go, you got a spot of man flu, have you? Pat you on the forehead, ruffle your hair, but there's nothing wrong with you, really. When you might be dying.
It's that serious?
Well, no, I'm not saying it could be that serious. What I'm saying is that it's unfair to go around, you know, labelling people blokes who are ill straight away. Oh, you got man flu. We'll just push that to one side. All right, next.
Does your doctor do that?
No, the doctor doesn't do that. I don't think any doctor would say you got man flu. I think any doctor who did that, then I'd suggest that you go and use another doctor.
Should be struck off.
Well, I'm saying that the people out there that do it, you know, some work colleagues who go straight to it, oh, you're looking a bit peaky today. Say hello to me first. Say hi, how you do? You know, don't go, oh, you all look very well today. Oh, you got a spot of man flu, have you? Next!
Has this happened to you a lot recently?
Well, it's not happened to me lots, but I'm just saying that it really annoys me when it does happen. Say that I'm really ill. I could be really ill, Rob. And they're going, oh, I just got a bit of man flu.
But
anyway, don't worry about you. I'll tell you about my day.
I would say, this is what my parents always said to me, and they'd make me go to school and things like that when I was ill. If I was well enough to be up and saying, oh, I'm not feeling very well, then I was well enough to go to school. I.e., if you're well enough to come to work in the first place, it can't be that serious. If you were really, dare I say it, dying, you'd be lying there like...
Some of us, Rob, we go into work no matter... You can stop doing the impression now. Some of us go into work no matter what.
So literally you would crawl into work?
Yeah, marching in. Right, enough of the impression.
Mansfield 103.2, the home of great music.
You wouldn't do that. You'd try and put a veil on it.
Would you?
Of course you would. You wouldn't come in and sound like that.
So you'd manage, even if you were dying, you'd manage to sound upbeat?
Of course I would. Experts believe that this particular moniker, man flu, is stopping patients from heeding warning signs that their body's giving to them, ignoring them. Oh, it'll just get swept under the carpet. My family members are saying it's man flu. Man flu's rubbish.
So what's the conclusion from all this?
The conclusion is stop saying that we got man flu. Right! Okay, have you heard this story, Mr. Robert?
No.
You've not heard it yet, so you don't know.
I don't know, no. I'll tell you at the end.
It's a Twitter-based story. It's about a lady who is based in America, in Massachusetts. She's on Twitter, and her sort of name is @the_Ashes.
The cricket tournament?
No, not the cricket tournament. She's just called herself the Ashes.
She opens the batting for Australia.
She knew nothing about cricket until the start of the Ashes, when people started tweeting her. And she got very disgruntled. I am not a cricket match! I'm a woman in Massachusetts! Anyway, she had about 30 followers, and now she's got like 7,000, 8,000 followers now on Twitter. Because everybody's following her. But now, right, she's into it. She's loving it now. She's actually asked, what are the rules of this game? And then people have started a campaign, get the Ashes to the Ashes. And she's been offered a trip by one of the airlines to go to Australia and watch the Ashes.
All because she had the name The Ashes?
Yeah, exactly. She's been offered all kinds of stuff just because people have been finding it funny to wind her up. Because at first they were just mentioning the Ashes because they were talking about the Ashes, and she kept getting all the updates. She got more and more wound up, but now she's a bit of an online star.
Wow.
I've changed my Twitter name to the 2018 World Cup, and I'm hoping that I'll become a Twitter star.
I'm going to go 2012 Olympics.
Good work. That might already be taken, you never know.
Oh, probably. And also, it's here, isn't it? So it wouldn't be a great package to win. Or I'll just get a free train ticket rather than a round-the-world flight.
Having said that, if you want to get tickets for the Olympics, you've got to get them now, because they're already selling them. So if you don't buy them now, then you won't be able to go and watch the equestrian or the javelin.
I do love that javelin.
Or what else is there?
The hammer throw.
The hammer throw. But you have to get a ticket for inside the stadium for all that, all the track and field stuff. But there's other stuff taking place as well, the shooting and the swimming and the ball throwing competition.
There's a ball... isn't that primary school?
No.
Ball throwing competition.
And rounders, and also the egg and spoon race.
And the hopscotch. That's new to this year.
That's new because it's all British, you see. They've brought in... We're always allowed to bring in a few games. British Bulldog is new to the Olympics in 2012. Can't wait for that. Just where you throw a ball really hard at somebody. Is that what it is?
British Bulldog?
British Bulldog, yeah.
No, it's where you have to run past people and they try and rugby tackle you.
Oh, right. What's the one where you have to really throw a ball really hard and it thwacks somebody? Wow! And then they've got to get the ball and then throw it really hard at somebody, and then when it hits them, then they've got the ball and they've got to throw it really hard at somebody. Is that Knockdown Ginger, or is that British Bulldog, or what? I don't know.
Is it dodgeball?
Not dodgeball. There was a name for it when I used to play it in the playground in Berry Hill.
Maybe kids just threw balls at you.
Maybe called Stinger Ball. Wow! I used to love playing that. That's coming to the Olympics in 2012 as well. We've not worked out what the name is of it yet, but as soon as we've got it, we will be giving that to Lord Coe, because he's the man who runs it all, isn't he?
He has final say on all the sports that go in.
Seb has final say, and hoping that Domino's makes it as well, because I'm a big fan of that, or Gin Rummy. Mansfield 103.2, the home of great music. You take a whole lot of nothing for a handful of nothing. It could be a handful of snowball, but remember, as Sergeant Nick Butler said, make sure you're throwing your snowballs at your mates. Not being a tinker and throwing them at people that you shouldn't be throwing them at.
Some kids threw some at me the other day.
Throw as many as you want at him. That's fine.
Don't encourage them. They didn't need any encouragement. They're hell for leather. It's like I was back in Nam.
It is 2010 here on The Breakfast Show. It will soon be 2011. Did you know that, Rob? Did you know that's the way that the whole thing works? The years work?
The old Gregorian calendar.
That's how it works. The next one is up is the 2011. The one after that, 2012.
Well, the end of the world, apparently.
No, big year. Olympics.
And the end of the world.
No. Do you think is that going to come before the Olympics or after? I hope after. Because all that work, all that building, the whole Olympic Park, and then for the end of the world to come before it, all that money spent.
If at the opening ceremony they were like, and here comes the Olympic flame. Oh no, it's the end of the world. It'd be a nightmare.
Oh, it'd be terrible. Right now, Touch Me in the Morning story which has touched us and that we've spotted out there this morning on this cold and wintry Tuesday morning. And it's something to put a smile on your face, hopefully. Although it is a little bit of a sad story about a German fella. About a little German fella, a little old guy who apparently, I think what he's done is he's bricked himself up in a room. I think that's what's happened here. This that you've passed me is just ridiculous how it's written. It's crazy. Anyway, apparently what happened was this German guy was doing a spot of DIY and he built a wall and he built that wall around him, kind of bricked himself in. People didn't know what had happened to him until they could hear the banging on the walls and all that kind of stuff, and eventually they got him out. Although they might do him for criminal damage and trespassing. That doesn't make any sense.
It does. I read
all.
through it a minute ago. It makes perfect sense. Do you want me to read it properly? That was just told appallingly.
You can't read it out verbatim.
Wasn't going to read it out verbatim.
What's happened? The senior citizen, East Germany, realised what he'd done when he completed his handiwork.
No, give it here. Look, I'll do it.
Explain it then. Does it make any sense?
I'll do it. Right, okay. So pretend none of that had happened. Okay.
Well, make it quick then.
Okay.
As in, like, in 10 seconds.
Right, okay. Basically, senior citizen from Grumperde in eastern Germany realised that he had basically had a bit of a mishap when he was doing, like, DIY. He was trying to, it is very badly written.
It's awful. There isn't a story.
Earlier and it was fine.
There isn't a story in that.
There is a story. I read to it earlier and it was fine.
There isn't a story. Awful. That is 0 points for producing this morning. No stars.
I read to it earlier and it read fine.
Nobody could pick a story out of that.
Hang
nobody.
On. Have I printed out the wrong page?
Not even a German man who knew the story could pick a story out of that. Not even the guy who was involved in the story, who bricked himself in. We don't really know.
I'll tell you what happened.
Tell that story.
I'll tell you what happened.
What happened?
A German man wanted...
You really want more? What's wrong with you? You're constantly yawning all the time and I can hear it and it's putting me off.
You could hear that yawn?
Yes.
That was just because it's cold and it's chilly.
You're just shocking. Tiny Rob is here. Yes, yesterday we were talking about the possibility of having a shindig, a Christmas get-together, maybe a bonding session for the breakfast show. We're kind of falling out a little bit.
A little bit
this morning.
Counselling, not a Christmas party.
The problem is that, if you're going to be in here, then, wake yourself up, splash your face with some cold water. Put some snow down the back of your neck.
Do you know what it was? It was you reading through that list of primary schools was strangely hypnotic. So I was kind of just like, oh.
I know there's some people out there just listening to the radio going, is mine in there? Is mine in there? And we'll keep you updated with that. But we're talking about the possibility of a Christmas party for the Breakfast Show team. But yesterday you said something to me that I thought was very interesting indeed about involving other people.
Well, I just thought, as we say, tension is pretty high at the moment in the studio. Perhaps we should bring in some others to calm things down and keep everything happy.
Like who, Rob?
Just anyone who wants to come, maybe.
The listener?
Yeah.
So you think we should have, like, a Christmas do for the breakfast show, but invite the listener? There's about 5 of them, so that should be easy.
Well, yeah, it does depend how many people want to come, but I think we should be all right on that front.
Right, the problem here is, right, we don't know whether people will want to come and have a Christmas do with me and you and the rest of the breakfast crew. And secondly, we don't have a venue either. So I suppose we need to find out whether, if we were able to have some kind of Christmas do, whether you would come. I'm not talking about you, Rob, I'm talking about you.
I imagine I'd have to come, wouldn't I?
You'd be in there. Yeah, you'd have to be there, I'm afraid. Not I'm afraid. You should enjoy it. You make it sound like you don't want to be with us. It's terrible. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to stand for this shoddy behaviour this morning.
Well, the occasional yawn.
Touch me in the morning, ruined. More yawning on air than there ever has been on the breakfast show.
I didn't realise I was on air.
Look, yes, you were. Look, I was on air, and therefore you should try to keep your yawns and your pickings and your itchings to a minimum.
But I was just looking out the window.
Oh my goodness gracious! Oh my goodness gracious.
Weather updates and that.
I'm just looking out the window for weather updates and that. Working with you is just sending me to the edge! To the edge, man!
Can't wait for this Christmas party.
The Christmas party is going to be great. Oh, we might have a Christmas party.
Wow.
For the breakfast team. We want to invite some of the listeners as well.
Is Lisa definitely invited?
Yeah, Lisa's invited. She's a part of the breakfast team. And the thing is, though, we desperately need a venue to have this party.
My house.
At Lisa's house, possibly. Have you worked anything out on this yet? Tiny Rob, the producer of this show?
Well, we've got one offer. Lisa's house.
Lisa's house?
But no, I'm struggling in that department. The turkey can come.
Trevor doesn't like it. He's shaking his gobbling head and saying, no, I don't want to go to Lisa's house, even though she has got a hot tub. If you know of any venues, I suppose everybody's sort of attention's diverted towards the snow. Any venues for our little Christmas party, shindig for Mansfield 102.2 Breakfast Show with some of the listeners? Could do with some help, please.
We've had a phone call with regards to the Christmas party.
We've actually had some reaction to this.
Someone's got in touch.
Somebody wants us there.
His name's Chris. He's a lovely fella. He's from Fillets in Forest Town, which is a fish and chips restaurant just opposite the Asda. And, well, he's got a proposition for you.
Chris, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Very good. Thanks for getting in touch with us on this cold and snowy morning across Manchester. What have you got for us?
Well, I heard you talking about the Christmas party. I've got a predicament where people obviously know Fillets as a fish and chip shop, but they don't actually know it's a fish and chip restaurant. So we've got 60 seats. We've got an upstairs area, and I think we could turn that over to your listeners and yourself. If you want to come down and have a party, I think we can accommodate yourself. I don't know, 30 listeners. We can try and squeeze you in, give you all fish and chips.
Wow, that sounds great. Do you know what we could call it, Chris? I don't know whether you'd allow us to do that. If indeed this is all good, we obviously need to get you in touch with our sales team, because we can't just go ahead and just say, hey,
yeah, sure.
But what about this? A Fishmas party.
Ooh, I tell you what, that might just catch on.
You see, I like that, a little catch there. You're doing the whole fish thing. Obviously, the working at Fillets, Chris, is rubbing off on you.
Well, yeah, I like it, and it's also Trevor-free, so I think the turkey might be a bit happy about where you're going.
He's delighted, Chris. Wow, well, this is fantastic news. Thank you so much for getting in touch. And
well, no, we thought it'd be all, because it was all snowing, we're all festive, we thought we'd invite you down and see what happens. So, yeah, I'll speak to you after the show if you like.
Right now, it is time to work out what are the good sledging spots across Mansfield, Ashfield and Bolsover. The best locations to do your sledging in a feature I'm calling this morning, Slopecation with Producer Rob. And here he is now, Producer Rob. Let's talk about those sledging locations that people have been getting in touch with us about.
Okay, we've had loads in. Kicking things off, we had Michelle Roberts. This is all on Facebook, by the way. Michelle Roberts, she said Carbank Park, my kids love it there. We then had Shannon Parkin, who said Downberry Hill is awesome. We had Neil Wilson, who said Fisher Lane is the best. Fact.
Great sledging.
We then had Gail Baird, who said, "Are bin men coming out today?" We then, do we know the answer?
Don't think so. A bit tricky out there.
Okay, and then we then had Michelle Roberts, who said, "That's a good one, Gail. That's if they're working today." The conversation seems to have been dragged off topic by Gail Baird. And then let's scroll down and we've got it back on track now. Heather Neal says Pit Tip near Millennium Business Park is great. We then had Debbie Nemo Crowder, who said her boys love Fisher Lane Park.
Fisher Lane, that's a couple of thumbs up to that.
Fisher Lane Park is going down very well indeed. We then had Rhys Armstrong, who said Brearley Forest in Huthwaite/Sutton/Skegby ain't bad.
You're listening to Slopecation, the best sleigh riding slots across Mansfield, Ashfield and Bolsover, or sledging places.
We then had who did we have?
This is great.
Sean Smith said Kirkby Pit Tip. We then had Kevin Booth, who said Strawberry Knob at Forest Town. You heard of that one?
Never heard of Strawberry Knob. Gonna have to hunt that one down.
We'll have to hunt down, yeah. And David Jordan said Glapwell Hill down. Nothing else on it. We then had Zvi Aduba said Berry Hill is epic at the moment. Fisher is good as well, though.
I'm talking about Berry Hill as in the quarry. I think there's quite a steep one there. Extra care needed there, I think.
It's like Olympic standard sledging.
Yeah.
We then had Angela Palmer said Pit Tip in Kirkby.
That's the Pit Tip in Kirkby, yes.
And Sarah Sandbrook said Down the Vale in Mansfield Woodhouse.
You're listening to Slopecation, the best sledging spots across Mansfield, Ashfield and Bolsover. Got it right that time.
Stevie Henton said, yep, I agree, Plesley Vale is the best. And Andrew Hayes said the spoil sports at the council planted trees all along the slope at Fisher Lane. We couldn't sledge at the weekend because of it.
What? Trevor's disgusted.
I'm not surprised.
You got somebody on the line for us?
I have. I've got our resident sledging expert. It's Mr. Harry Black.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, Harry, you're on the line. You came in to do some work experience here at Mansfield 103.2, and you are a sledging expert. Give us some tips.
First of all, find somewhere that's got really heavy iced area. That way you can go down a lot faster, and then you don't have to stop as much. If you have heavy snow, then you'll slow down and it won't be as fun, and you'll just stop.
That's a great tip there, Harry.
Also, it doesn't have to necessarily be the most steepest hill, because then you have to realise that you've got to drag your sledge all the way back up. So anywhere that's on a slight slope will be fine, just where there's not a lot of snow.
A bit of a lazy sledging tip there. If you're not into climbing too quickly up the hill, then don't go for a big incline.
Or what you could do is bring a friend with you, and you could say, whoever goes down the fastest, the other person has to pull it up. Trick them into saying that's a good game.
Once again, a little bit of a trickery going on there from Harry Black. Loving it. Any more for us this morning?
Finally, anything could be used as a sledge. It doesn't have to be one. You could have a long branch. You could have one of those plastic ones, a few sticks, anything. Anything that's flat and that's big enough for you to sit on, you can use anything at all.
I'm loving it. He's a bin bag man, is old Harry Black. Harry, do you want to say hello to our turkey?
Hi, Trev.
Yeah, he's happy to say hello to you, but we're getting a bit close now to the big day.
Yeah. I think he likes me.
I think he does. He's loving your sledging tips. Thanks, Harry. And if we do any more sledging news, if indeed the snow continues, will you continue to be our sledging correspondent?
I will, definitely.
Fantastic. Are you ready? So Norman's on the way, and I'd like you to open up our advent calendar, because it's the first today.
Okay, then, yeah.
And we got a special advent calendar that we're doing here on the Breakfast Show. So would you like to open it up for us?
I will do that.
This is number one, yeah?
Number one.
Here we go.
Got it.
Wait a second. Are you going to just peel it open? That's
ready?
it. That's it.
And I got it specially for you, Ian. It is a trip through a winter wonderland. Oh, look, it's a friendly little Christmas robin. Hello there. Oh, some children playing in the snow. Oh, hello, yes, Merry Christmas. Hello there. Oh, it's one of Santa's reindeer. You must be Rudolph. Right, now just to go inside your house. There you are, there's the door, and oh, what's this? Oh, why, it's all your family and friends from over the years. Wow, they've all gathered to tell you what a fantastic guy you are and wish you Merry Christmas. Oh, what a day. Now, time to settle down by the fire and just enjoy the remainder of this lovely winter wonderland. That was your winter wonderland. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. The thing about the whole, advent calendar thing is it's supposed to be for everybody, not just for me. I enjoyed that. I love my little walk through. It's like real life now, that is.
Well, that's perfect. I made this last week.
Unbelievable. I don't know how you managed it. You came in this morning dressed in a very peculiar way. Have you not got any socks?
I have got socks. I was wearing some on my hands. The gloves.
Right, sorry. I meant to say, have you not got any gloves?
No gloves. Lots of socks, though.
Lots of socks.
Too many.
Yeah. He was wearing socks on his hands, and he had well-known supermarket chain plastic bags around his feet, making it even more slippy for him as he came into work this morning.
But my shoes stay dry, and I'm kind of loath to go and buy some Wellington boots, because I have a feeling this is going to be gone in a week, and I don't want to go out and spend 30 quid on wellies.
I think we've seen the worst of it.
I hope so.
I'll say that, and now we'll get another deluge later on today.
If it gets worse, I'm going to have to make an entire body jumpsuit out of carrier bags. I'll look like the Michelin Man coming into work.
What do you think is the best verb to describe walking through snow? I was thinking about this on the way up today. This is the only thing. I thought to myself, I'm not thinking about anything for the show today, I'm just walking. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll try and come up with something for the show. So what do you think is the best verb to describe walking through the snow?
The best verb?
Yeah.
Okay, I would call it staggering.
Staggering?
Yeah.
I would say staggering is when maybe you've had a couple too many on the way home.
Or you've got some plastic bags on your feet.
Or you've got some ridiculous plastic bags on your feet. I've come up with this. I think this is the ultimate verb to describe walking in the snow. Trudging.
I like it.
Yeah? Trudging through the snow.
Because it gets the entire feeling of it, doesn't it?
To trudge.
walking through the snow. We need to look up the dictionary definition of trudging, but I think trudging is the word that we should all be using today if indeed we are walking through the snow. Dean's got in touch from Sutton. He says the buses are running this morning because I think he's been on one.
Do buses still trudge through the snow, or does it become different when it's a vehicle?
They drive through the snow.
Are we
Which is the
happy with
same as
drive?
like, yeah, well, because they just drive through it, don't they? A big vehicle like a bus, I'm guessing, would travel through the snow pretty well, up to a point. Whereas us, we're not built for snow. That's the reason why some guys wear tennis rackets. Have you seen anybody wearing tennis rackets on their feet? If you come in with tennis rackets, I would have been very proud of you. I would have said, you know what you're doing. You're just like Scott of the Antarctic.
Are they actually Dunlop tennis rackets, or are they special walking things?
I don't know the make of these tennis rackets that old Scott used to use, but he knew what he was doing until, obviously, he didn't come back. But, you know, that's a whole other story. To trudge.
To walk in a laborious, heavy-footed way. Plod.
Plodding through the snow is another one. And somebody got in touch. I think it was that fellow from Bumley Port, over near Annesley. And he said jauntily.
Jauntily?
Yeah, walking jauntily through the snow.
That makes it sound like you're sort of doing a hop, skip and a jump through the snow.
Some people, the kids do, they love it. You know, they're skipping around, throwing snowballs. I got snowballed on the way home, by the way. Somebody asked me, do you like the weather? I said no, and then I got snowballed.
Seriously?
I thought to myself, maybe I should have said yes.
Did you exact any revenge on them?
Not really, I just can't be bothered.
You just trudged
It
home?
was 7 o'clock at night. You know, I didn't have any energy for turning around and starting off World War III in snowballs.
I think what you need to do is start jaunting home, and then you'd have had loads of energy to...
Slip! Ah! That's what it would have been like. If you jauntily walk in the snow, potentially you're not really looking where you're going, you could end up on your arse.
And there's nothing worse than a cold one of them in this weather.
Exactly, absolutely right.
Big lad from Garibaldi said he does the trolleys at a supermarket, and he said, first of all, he wants to say a big hello to everyone who does trolleys across the country, because it's going to be a nightmare day apparently today, and he described it as chugging.
Chugging the trolleys across the supermarket car park. What was that? Chugging.
You got the memory of a goldfish. Chugging.
No, it's because I started to say I start with a T again. It's because I'm obsessed with trudging, you see. I can't take anything else on board. No, don't tell me. It's only trudging to me. I'm not interested in listening to anybody else. It's only trudging. Don't you dare come here with chugging. Don't you dare come here.
We want to encourage feedback.
We want to encourage people. Of course we do. I might take chugging on board.
And
good work, big lad.
I get his name right.
I can't speak.
And David in Mansfield said, what about, I think he's made this word up, he said spludging.
Spludging through the snow. It sounds as if you were doing that in the snow, you might get arrested.
Sarah Jones got in touch from Mansfield. She said she ambles through the snow.
You see, I would use amble as maybe a steady Sunday walk.
Oh, the amble for me is like a stagger. It's kind of like a ambling. Oh. And Sheena Scott got in touch from the Oak Tree Estate, and she said she shuffles in the snow. She shuffles.
Barry Magic. I said to him, is that your name? He says, no, that's my nickname. Barry Magic in Mansfield.
Barry Magic.
I love that name. Barry. Please, can somebody call me Ian Magic? It doesn't kind of work, does it?
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Barry Magic in Mansfield says prancing.
Really?
He says prancing because apparently that's what the reindeers do when they're walking through the snow. They're used to walking through the snow. They prance through the snow. Why can't we?
We don't have hooves. I think that's a stumbling block.
And the final one, which is my favourite, and that we got through from Wendy Cosgrove, who's listening in Hucknall today. She's all tucked up in her bed still listening to this. She's not even looked outside yet. She says, I take it it's still snowing. Well, I said, it's still snowy. It's not necessarily snowing. It's definitely still snowy. I said, what do you expect? You think it was going to melt overnight, Wendy? You idiot. And she says, no, of course I didn't. We only have a bit of a tease. Anyway, Wendy says that she's come up with something. This is what she does. Slipper-tearing.
That's ridiculous.
Slipper-tearing through the snow.
That's not even a made-up word. That's just like a noise.
It's two words put together. It's slipping, because obviously it's a bit slippy on the snow, and orienteering. It kind of works that way. Slipper-tearing.
I like it, combining two words to create a new, better, stronger word.
I think you might call it a hybrid.
I love it.
That's what I'm going to be doing from now on. I'm going to be slipper-tearing my way home later on.
What happened to trudging? You're so quick to turn your back on trudging.
At one point, I was snow-blinded by it. I couldn't listen to anybody, and now Wendy comes along with a slipper-tearing, and I'm all over it.
You're a fair-weathered friend.
I am well, not a fair-weather, a horrible, terrible, dirty weather friend.
Dirty weather?
I'm calling this I think that Mother Nature is playing a dirty trick on us. That's my opinion. But I know that lots of people are loving it out there.
I just like the idea it's Mother Nature's dirty trick, like it's her version of the whoopee cushion.
That's exactly what it is.
Lend ahoy, Captain! Who's on the Christmas cruise? Who's on the captain's table? Who's on the Christmas cruise? Who's on the captain's table? Who's on the Christmas cruise? Who's on the captain's table? Who's on the Christmas cruise? Who's on the captain's table? With me, Captain Cruise.
Great. Captain Cruise has got his clues as to who was on his cruise last night eating at the captain's table. Give us the clues.
Okay, so last night is a very handsome man. This is the first clue coming up now. He's married to a Spice Girl. That's the clue number 1 there. Clue number 2, his legs are insured for $70 million. US dollars. And clue number 3, this morning, he's bigging up England in their World Cup bid over in Zurich.
Over in where?
Zurich.
Zurich. Oh, in Switzerland.
Yes. He had dinner with me last night.
Right, okay. Little question there is Zurich is in Switzerland, a landlocked country. How are you moored up in Zurich?
Well,
How on earth was David Beckham dining with you last night when I know for a fact he was dining with Lord Coe and the other fella who's down there and the Prince?
They were all dining with me. I could only pick one celebrity. I was with them. I should actually be there now, actually.
What, representing England?
Yes!
Well, no, if you were there, no chance of us getting it.
What? Oh, you've seen the world!
Anyway, we know what the reason now why, if we don't get it, it'll be because of you. You were there last night. You must have upset some FIFA officials.
Oh, I was very friendly with Sepp Blatter, I was.
If we don't get it, it's you.
It's me?
You're to blame.
Oh, my goodness.
01623 666 000. I've got this to say to you.
I don't ever want to hit... That word haunts me. Please, no more, I can't. I get flashbacks, I do. No!
Time to run through the school closure list. You all right?
Oh, I think my peg leg's gone somewhere it shouldn't.
Right, list of schools, then that are closed today. Abbey Gates Primary School. Captain Cruise is here. Are you all right? We managed to get your peg leg out of there, and then we put it back on, so...
Yeah, it's right as rain now, Mr. Watkins. I'm back on my... Not feet, because I don't have any, but I'm back on my pegs.
Oh, you got 2 pegs?
Yeah, both of them.
How did you lose them?
One was bitten off by a shark, the other one was just a nasty accident involving a faulty radiator.
Do you know the Soul Man song? It sounds now like, to me, because I've seen so much snow... Snowman! I thought that's what they were singing.
It's messing with your mind, all this snow.
Something's happened, and I was like, listen to that song saying, it's saying snowman to me. Every song I listen to now has got some kind of snow reference in it.
What about Let It Be?
Let it snow, that's all I can hear. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
That was lovely, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good.
Give me another one.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mamma mia, please don't let it snow again. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. I see a little man sitting in the snow, in the snow, in the snow. I can see it in the snow. It's in the snow. That's all I can hear.
What about Perfect Day?
It's such a snowy day, I want to spend it with you, building snowmen and making snowballs and throwing them at your face and putting them down your trousers.
And last one, Sweet Child of Mine.
Oh, sweet snowman of mine.
Brilliant.
I think I've got problems, actually.
I think you did anyway, but this just adds to them.
I think I'm going to have to go to the doctor. When I walk in, it's Frosty the Snowman. Dr. Frosty. Hello, Dr. Frosty.
Hello there, Ian. I'm afraid you've got snow fever.
Snow fever? Do you think that's what it is?
I think that's what I've got. Somebody has got in touch to sort of back me up on this, to say, I think there is some kind of snow-related craziness going about.
Mr. Graham Roberts from Ladybrook.
He's backing me up on this.
He's backing you up. He says he thinks he's got what you have, but he's in the advanced stages of it. And he's called it snow mentalness. Rather, what did you call it? Snow fever?
Snow fever, yeah.
I think they're the same neurosis. And basically, what his stages are now, that even when he's indoors, like maybe he's about to go to bed, he closes his eyes, and it's still snowing. He still sees snow, and they're kind of in it's not white, it's sort of bluey, blacky colour, but he sees snowflakes coming down in front of him.
I have to say that I had a similar thing. When I'm reading out the snow closure list, I can see little flakes in front of me as I'm doing it. How weird is that?
But he also says, on the positive side, with the snow, it is sending you mental, but if you drop your beers in it, they're perfectly chilled every time. So, swings and roundabouts.
I did that. I dropped some beers in it, and then when I went back to where the beers were, they were gone. I think somebody had obviously seen me putting my beers in there, and then finished them.
You could probably get quite drunk just walking around in the evening, looking where people have put beers out.
Ferreting around in the snow.
Yeah, on your hands and knees, digging up cold Budweisers.
The thing is then, you see, what I would do is I would put out this kind of, like, warning. Make sure, be vigilant of people ferreting around in the snow. And you get lots of kids being sort of carted off to the police station. I was only building a snowman. No, you weren't. You were looking for beers. Come on, we're going to put you in the prison cells.
Or you could have someone searching for their buried friend and they're suddenly hauled away and the friend's still lying there going,
help me, help me. And the thing you've got to watch out for as well, talking of buried friends, is that the roofs have got lots and lots of snow on them. What happens when they avalanche off? I know that some people have been hit by that kind of stuff, so be careful of the roofs as well. You've got to be vigilant of the slippy floors, you've got to be vigilant of the skies, you've got to be vigilant of the roofs.
And the roads.
Of the roads, you've got to keep your eyes open at the moment, because you've got to be on your full game in order to beat this weather. And we can do it, we can pull together and do it. Producer Rob is with me, you've lined up a call for me this morning.
We've got an American friend of ours, it's Mr. Irving Distiller. He's calling to give us a weather update from the American perspective.
Okay, Irving, so how do we deal with this kind of weather?
I suggest you buy the proper clothing. That's the first place to start.
Irving, the thing about this kind of weather is it sort of brings people together. I mean, across Mansfield, Ashford and Bolsover, there's this kind of camaraderie. Does that happen over in the US? Are people sort of going around people's houses knocking to see if you're all right?
Yes, and there's other types of camaraderie, too. I mean, if I was you, I'd, circle dates on the calendar and then, spin ahead 9 months and just put a big red X and see what happens. That happens here quite often during blackouts, too.
You mean that you get it on during these kind of conditions?
You might as well. There's not much else to do. What was that old rock and roll song, Bang a Gong, Get It On? Wasn't that the title of that song?
So you're expecting in 9 months' time a bit of a population boost in Britain?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's no question about that.
You're a big Ricky Martin fan.
I'm a massive Ricky Martin fan. Although, after he took the mole off, not really into him so much now.
Did he have a mole removed?
It was a mighty mole.
Do you think it was the source of all his power?
I think so. Removed it. Since then, nothing. Can't do it the same way as he used to do it for me. Saying that, he had a good song out recently with the lady from the Pussycat Dolls. She's got a new song out as well. Shirt Singer.
Does she have a mole?
I've not looked. I've not studied the body. I think she might have a mole somewhere. It's not on show.
Should we try and get her in on the show and see if we can locate any moles on Nicole's shirt?
I don't know whether Lewis Hamilton had liked that, as we told her to remove her clothes and get behind the curtain, whilst Tiny Rob looks for a mole. A lot of schools closed.
A lot of them closed. How many open? What was the percentage, roughly?
I think the percentage was something like 0.00008% of schools opened.
Can you imagine being one of those gutted kids sat there listening? Because that list was long at times. It literally took us about 6 minutes to read it out. And you sat there and your school's not on the list.
I thought we were very kind in giving them just 40 minutes worth of school closures, rather than giving the whole school closures thing, which was around about 2 days worth.
They were the highlights. They were the best bits of the school closures.
They were the best school closures that we could possibly bring you.
They're good school closures, they are.
We also talked this week, you didn't hear this in the podcast because we just put in those school closures, because I know that you want to relive the time that you weren't at school. But we talked about slipper-tearing. Somebody got in touch with us and said, what you do when you go through the snow, instead of walking, you should use the verb slipper-tearing through the snow, which I've embraced. I've been slipper-tearing this week, and that is basically a mixture, I said on air, of slipping and orienteering. But it turns out that the lady who got in touch said it's a mixture of slipping and pioneering, to give that idea of going on a trekking through the snow in a sort of Captain Scott of the Antarctic sort of a way. Or maybe Emerson, or is it Emerson?
Well, I've never heard of him. I think he played defensive midfield for Brazil in the late 90s.
There's definitely this guy, we might have to look this up. Maybe Joe knows this. Joe, who's that guy? He was like the Swiss guy who got to the South Pole before Scott, and sort of like when Scott arrived there, he was there sort of waving, I made it here first than you. Him.
I had this wonderful army knife and it came in really handy.
Yeah, something like that. He might not have been Swiss. Norway.
Neil Armstrong?
No, he was something to do with the moon, I think.
He was the moon guy,
He was the moon guy. But there was definitely somebody who went first. I think it was a bunch of Norwegians who went there. So it was kind of like a race. It was Scott versus this other bloke. He got there first and we don't even know his name, which is weird. Normally you remember the first guy there, not the second guy there. And obviously then Scott on his way back died.
He died on his way back?
Yeah, because he's so gutted that he'd lost the
To a Swiss man.
Yeah, to a Norwegian.
To a Norwegian.
Right, hang on, I'm going to look this up while we talk about this. Maybe that's the only thing in history, Rob, where the guy who came second is more remembered than the guy who actually came first.
I can think of another example.
Go on.
Where the guy who came last is the most remembered. He didn't even come second.
Go on then.
Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle
No
Edwards.
one could tell you who medalled in that.
I love what you've done there, because he was involved in the Winter Olympics, and it's a Winter Olympic scene outside. Good work.
Always thinking.
It's all snow. Second people in the snow, always remembered. Second people in the heat, never remembered. Right, I'm looking this up now. Scott of the Antarctic. We're doing this live on the podcast, you lucky devils. Scott of... You're going to have to sort of, like, try and help me here while I'm looking this up.
What do you want me to do?
The Antarctic.
A Norwegian, possibly Swiss.
Fella
who beat him.
Robert Falcon Scott was his full name.
Falcon is a middle name.
1868 till 1912. And he died at the South Pole, January the 17th. It was very exact. And he was up against somebody. Was it Shackleton? Suddenly Shackleton jumps forward into my mind.
It doesn't sound very Norwegian.
This is it, right. During the second venture to the South Pole, Scott led a party of 5 which reached the South Pole on January the 17th, 1912. He didn't die then. Only to find that he had been preceded by Roald Amundsen. So I was close, wasn't I? Roald Amundsen's Norwegian expedition. Oh my good golly, we've been beaten here. On their return journey, Scott and his 4 comrades all perished from a combination of exhaustion, starvation, and extreme cold. So let that be a lesson to you.
Never tried anything.
But we remember you. We remember you, Robert Falcon Scott. We salute you, and we salute all those other snow people this week. And let's hope that nobody came to that kind of sorry end.
And the Norwegian guy, I've already forgotten his name.
Roald Amundsen.
Roald Amundsen.
Anyway, so the not too shabby bit this week is something to do with a mutiny.
Well, basically, we had I don't think he was a comedy character. He was a captain in his own right, and he'd come in to help along with this competition we did.
You might have heard him on last week's podcast.
Yes, Captain Cruise was his name.
This is the lowest point in my radio career.
Giving away cabins was his game, and he'd come in and he'd said a riddle. No, it wasn't even a riddle. It was just a list of clues as to which celebrity he had a meal with the evening before. And anyway, on the last day, as kind of a last day of term thing, he brought in some of his fellow work staff. There was Joe Flappity Flapperson Allen came in, which is a pirate name, Flappity Flapperson, and also...
He's here, actually.
He's here now.
Aye, aye.
There he is.
He's still doing his thing.
He's hanging around, and we also had Andy One-Eye Tats. Thank you, Andy. And he came in as well, and you'll notice that Captain Cruise isn't actually here, and this is why.
Who's on the Christmas cruise? Who's on the captain's table? Who's on the Christmas cruise? Who's on the captain's table?
With me, Captain Cruise.
Mansfield 102.2, the home of great music. The final time we will speak.
Yes, it's sad, isn't it? I'm shipping off and setting sail tomorrow morning.
Are you now?
Yes, I am.
In the good ship Ogle?
In the good ship Ogle, yeah.
And your crew's here. Hello, crew.
Aye, aye.
Good morning.
Brought them in. They wanted to see how all this radio stuff works.
Right, okay, so what was the answer to who was at the captain's table last night?
It was Barack Obama.
Was he there, guys?
Aye, he was very good company.
Yeah, there you go. Very good company.
It was great. Very, very good stories to tell.
The crew are looking a bit angry, if I'm honest.
I think they're just hungry. We need to get them onto the boat and get them some...
Taking all the limelight. Rum stocks are low.
You promised you would not mention this. Yes, rum stocks are low, but we're going to sort that out, aren't we? One-Eye Tats.
I feel a mutiny coming on.
No, don't use the M-word.
A big mutiny.
No, hang on.
Mutiny. What the plan?
You treacherous sheepdogs, you scum. Yeah, no, I knew this would happen.
Go overboard.
No!
Goodness. Right, so he's gone overboard off the Mansfield 103.2 plank. It's Flappity Flap Allen.
Captain Flappity Flap Allen. Taking over the ship. He'll be a better captain than he ever was.
I'm sure.
And the rum stocks will be high. Rum! And I will share the booty.
The Weekly Breakfast Bab. Join us next week for more.
Mansfield 103.2